On the evening of December 24, 1964, during the Vietnam War, the Brinks Hotel in Saigon, also known as the Brink Bachelor Officers' Quarters, was the target of a bombing by the Viet Cong. This attack resulted in the tragic deaths of 2 Americans. One was an officer, and the other a non-commissioned officer. Additionally, approximately 60 individuals, including military personnel and Vietnamese civilians, sustained injuries in the explosion. The Viet Cong planned this operation with 2 primary objectives in mind. Firstly, by targeting an American establishment in heavily fortified Saigon, they aimed to demonstrate their capacity to strike within South Vietnam should the United States initiate air raids against North Vietnam. Secondly, the bombing was intended to convey to the South Vietnamese population that the Americans were vulnerable and could not be relied upon for protection. This incident triggered deliberations within the administration of United States President Lyndon B. Johnson. While many advisors advocated for retaliatory bombings of North Vietnam and the deployment of American combat troops, President Johnson favored the existing strategy of training the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, ARVN, to protect South Vietnam from the Viet Cong. Ultimately, Johnson decided against taking retaliatory action. This bombing attack occurred within the context of the Vietnam War, which had its roots in the struggle for Vietnamese independence after World War II. The conflict resulted in the division of Vietnam along the 17th parallel, with reunification elections scheduled for 1956 but eventually cancelled. South Vietnam and Communist North Vietnam emerged as separate states, with the United States supporting the South. As the Cold War escalated, American military advisors were dispatched to assist the ARVN in their fight against the Viet Cong. The Viet Cong regarded the Americans as evil and carried out attacks against both United States personnel and South Vietnamese forces, particularly in urban areas. The Brinks Hotel bombing was executed by 2 Viet Cong operatives who adeptly infiltrated the American officer-populated facility. They placed explosives in a vehicle's trunk and timed the bomb to detonate during the hotel's happy hour at 17:45. One of the operatives posed as a South Vietnamese military chauffeur, while the other pretended to be a South Vietnamese major. The major gained entry to the hotel's car park and left under the pretense of fetching an American officer, leaving the bomb-laden vehicle behind. The bomb exploded, resulting in the deaths of 2 American officers, including Lieutenant Colonel James Robert Hagen. Furthermore, a significant number of American and Vietnamese personnel sustained injuries, with varying reports on the exact count. The explosion caused substantial damage to the hotel, necessitating extensive repairs. The bombing had a significant impact on American policymakers, who debated the appropriate response. Despite recommendations for retaliatory bombings, President Johnson chose to maintain the existing strategy of training the ARVN rather than escalating American involvement in the conflict. This event underscored the complexity and challenges faced by the United States during the Vietnam War. Today, the site of the Brinks Hotel is occupied by the Park Hyatt Hotel, designed in a French colonial architectural style. A memorial at the location serves as a reminder of the tragic event that transpired there.